What's up, everybody? It's Ram of the East, and I just got a message today, mainly just knowledge, and I think hopefully insight for everyone to kind of see kind of how the enemy works through the world and why God tells us not to have idols and love the world. But the main topic is going to be idols, and like I was thinking a lot of ways on how to go over this because it's so deep, but I didn't want to make the video too long, and I think if this resonates with you guys, then just put in the comments if you want to know more about the history of it. But I'm just going to kind of give the gist of the history and get into how it's going on in our today's world. But to really start, what is an idol? Like an idol is a figure that it's a noun, so it's a person, place, or a thing. It's something that is a person, place, or a thing. Simple as that. I'm not going to get too complicated. But idols can be used to be worshipped. Idols can be used to push agendas. Idols can be used to house wickedness. So like if this is my room, like it's person pleasure thing. This room is housing me. So inside of nouns, things can live. Things can, a deeper meaning can be behind an idol or an idol. That makes sense. So like if this is my phone, if this is my idol, like there's a bunch of apps in there and things that make this my idol, right? If that's the case. But the reason why the devil wants you to idolize everything but the Lord is because through idolatry, the devil has a grip on you, and he can use these idols that he pushes his agenda with to then put demons into you, put demons into the world, put wickedness into the world, and corrupt God's creation. But once again, like I said, I don't want to get too much into the history. And if you guys want to hear the history about it, just leave it in the comments if you watch this video. But it really started back in Genesis when man was corrupt by Satan. Cain ends up killing his brother. A chapter later, goes and creates a wicked city. In that wicked city, the fallen angels come down. They breed with human women, and they create these things called the Nephilim giants. So the Nephilim are these sky tall creatures that were killing human beings, causing war and just corruption. Right, and the Nephilim came from angels, fallen angels, and human. But what those fallen angels also did while being here on Earth was they taught teachings, and this is where I don't want to spend too much time, and we like I said the histories later. But these fallen angels each taught different things, and this is all found in the Book of Enoch. Um, you can find the Book of Enoch anywhere. Like I said, I can do history lessons later, but in this Book of Enoch, it's chapter 8. It tells you what all 8 of the fallen angels taught, and this is where it comes into idolatry. But anyways, the first angel, and I kind of have a little cheat sheet here. He taught war, beauty, riches, and art. Second angel, fornication, corruption. Third, witchcraft, spells, black magic. Fourth one, white magic, healing, undoing of spells. Fifth one, I think, right, whatever. Astrology and horoscope. Then next one, omens, future telling. Right here, Tamil, astronomy, so the sun, the earth, the clouds, and then last one taught things of the moon and its secrets. So these fallen angels came down, had giant babies with human woman, and taught these things to mankind. Now, what gets interesting is this also in the Book of Enoch, is later on it goes to tell us that when God wiped the earth with the flood of Noah, these evil spirits remained. Now, why do these evil spirits remain? Because it's not your body that gets judged, it's your spirit. So us followers of Christ, we know that judgment day is coming. Those who are passed away and dead, like their spirits haven't been judged yet. They're asleep until judgment day comes. So God doesn't judge your body, he judges your spirit. And so the Nephilim's evil spirits being here will be on earth until judgment day comes, where everyone and every spirit will face judgment. But what this now does is now there are spirits loose, evil spirits loose on the earth, right? And this is where we kind of get into the topic of what an idol is. And as we go back and we look at the first idols created in the Bible, right? For me, it's my history. We had idols such as Ishtar, Enki, whatever, Nirashag. I'm definitely butchering these, but all these idols, right? Once again, what's an idol? Person, place, or thing. to noun. So Ishtar, person, place, or thing. Inside that idol, this is what this idol stood for: love and sexuality, fertility. This idol was called Venus. She was the sun and the moon. But if we look inside that idol, if we really look inside that idol, what do we see here? We see the first angel, fallen angel, Aziel, Temiel, Straddle, and Empty. So, right, love and sexuality. Who's that sound like? Right here, first one, and the second one. Aristotle, whatever, right? That's the moon. And then with the sun, it sounds like Temiel. So inside of Ishtar's idol are these spirits. Why are these spirits inside of Ishtar? Because once again, the Nephilim were children of these fallen angels. So if I make it just as quick as possible, if Aziel hooked up with a woman, that Nephilim baby had the spirit of war, beauty, and riches in him. If Armor's hooked up and had a baby, a Nephilim baby, that Nephilim baby had the spirit of white magic, healing, undoing of spells. And same with Becker or whatever, if he had a child, a Nephilim child, and that's that spirit's DNA, astrology, and horoscope. Right. So now when you worship these idols, or back then when they worshiped these idols, it was an opening for these spirits to come back in. Right. So these spirits need openings to come in. And that's why idols were formed. Right. They need a place to come house themselves, right? Or else they're dwelling in the spirit realm. So when you get an idol, these spirits, aka demons, can come house themselves in here. And then when others come and worship this and lust after it and follow this idol, these demons can now get into their spirit and have them on the same page and frequency. But same for this next idol. It's supposed to be the idol, the god of healing, magic, art, mischief, intelligence, and fertility. So this sounds like three of the angels that were fallen. Right, so I listed them down here in red. I go to this next one. This was supposed to be like the mother goddess, but fertility, transformation was our topic, creation, pregnancy, childbirth, and her sign was Omega, and it was accompanied by a knife. It also said somewhere that she was a goddess of war, but accompanied by a knife. Like, let's go back to the first angel. These were man-made arms of armor such as swords, knives, breastplates, shields. Right, so it's kind of blatant once you know this truth, but you see these, and these are the idols, right? That's why God says don't have idols, because inside the idol is demonic entities. And so we have to remember that the devil is not omnipresent. So before these spirits were roaming the earth, right, the devil he had to dwell somewhere. Right. So there's 4 cities before the flood happened. The devil had to pick which one he wanted to dwell in, and it would be corrupt. But once he would leave, right, like he didn't have that power, that authority. So now that he has these spirits on the earth after the flood, he doesn't have to be omnipresent. He can go dwell in city A and be all the way in cities in all the way in city Z or B through Z, as long as he has these demons planted in people, right? Through idolization, he didn't have to be there. Right. So what idolization does, or idolatry, is it makes it so the devil can just sit back and let the domino effect happen and roll off. And so I'll get into why this is real important in today's kind of world. But 2 examples of this again is the Roman Empire. Right. Now I wrote down like one of my notes, but like the Roman Empire was, I guess they worshipped like Jupiter, Juno, Neptune, Mars, Venus. I don't think I have to get like too much into it, but what does this sound like? Um, Astronomy, right? So that's a demon. Witchcraft, white magic, these are demons. The moon, it's like all these things, the stars and stuff, like those were portals. But the Roman Empire, why it was so wicked, is because they had so many idols. So the more idols you have, the more these demons can come into your vessel. Right? The devil knows this, which takes me to my next point. And one thing too, before I even get to the next point, like because I have down here like Aphrodite example. Aphrodite was a goddess of love and beauty, and the that was worshipped in the New Testament. But isn't it funny how love and sexuality, once again, that was Ishtar in the Old Testament? So the devil just changes the name. right? So the idol isn't always the same thing. So what you'll see throughout history is the idol's name changes, but the demons housed inside the idol remain the same, right? And once again, that's his plan, right? To plant those seeds. But anyways, and this is what takes me to the now. We look at today's world, right? And the idols are people now. Right now, there's still certain things, which is the next part, but like they're celebrities, athletes, movie stars, billionaires. Like these are the idols. And that's what you have to remember. Like when God tells us not to love the world, and I have this verse up, First John and 2, but when God tells us not to love the world, it's because if you love anything in the world, other than like if you love anything other than God, it's idolatry. And God says if you're a lover of the world, you're an enemy to me. Right. So you can't serve two masters. And so when you're idolizing something in the world, no matter what it is, the devil lurks, he prowls. He's gonna find out what you love in the world, and he's then going to open portals to it. So whether it be, you're obsessed with, like I said, a celebrity, right? Let's say a girl's obsessed with Rihanna, or right now like Taylor Swift, right? Like they're really pushing that agenda, which I'll touch base on. And they worship Taylor Swift. They call themselves Swifties, right? Anything Taylor Swift does, like the more they connect to Taylor and look at her as an idol, Taylor could come on national TV and say, hook up with five dudes in a night, like I did this and I felt the greatest I ever have in my life. Now all the people who and like little girls that idolize her are going to do the same thing. And that's an open portal. And so most of the time too, and this is why you hear quote unquote conspiracy about celebrities selling their souls. One, you can't sell your soul, but they get into an agreement with the devil. And so the most wicked people are the most popular people because they're pushing the devil's agenda. But not only that, they've agreed to be an idol. So if you look at somebody like Sam Smith, that's super corrupt, right? Like he was on stage last year at the Grammys in a devil uniform. Or the one like Meg Thee Stallion. If you look at these people, like if they're loved by the world, and God tells us this too, he says, and this is in John 15, towards the end of the chapter, but it's John chapter 15. But he tells you, if the world hates you, remember it hated me first. The world hates you because you're not of the world. If you were of the world would love you. Right? So if you see people being loved by the world, it's because the world loves them. Who's the world? The devil's the world. Right? So when you see these celebrities being pushed and they're this massive star and everyone's following them and like well such and such said to do this, so I'm doing it. Like this is the devil's way to get you to idolize a person. And you see they're posted everywhere. Like, bro, I don't even watch football, but for some reason, Taylor Swift, if I'm ever on social media, like the past couple like months, Taylor Swift's on there. I'm like, I have nothing to do with her. But when you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you know what agenda is being pushed. All right, they're idolizing her because she's in agreement. Let's take it like this. Say Taylor Swift represents right here, we'll go to Armors, right? Whoever his name is. So swap that name with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift comes in agreement with wickedness, and they're like, "Look, we'll make you this idol, right?" Or I'm sorry, let's use Ishtar. To Ishtar, they're like, instead of Ishtar, it's Taylor Swift. But what you're gonna stand for is love and sexuality, fertility, and let's leave it at that. Now, when she's putting that out there, promoting that, people start following her, right? Forming a soul tie with her, and they love her. Who does that open the doors for? These spirits, the ones here in red, Tamiel, Aziel, and Piety, whatever. So like once again, just how I went from Ishtar to Enki or whatever, however you want to say it, or Ishtar to Aphrodite, the idols change, but the demons remain. And so the devil tries to deceive this by okay, this person. And that's why you idolize no man or woman, right? But the devil deceives this by making idols, using the media, pushing an agenda. People and children follow this idol. Then those demons enter in, and that's why society is wicked. But I want to go over this last part too. This is and even okay, something like someone like Beyonce, like, and if you go watch this was like doing this research and I'm gonna drop more videos on these things, God willing. But if you go watch these people I'm naming and you actually go like, you take your bias out, you take your fleshly thoughts out, and you go look at the things they're doing, like you have a conscience, right? You know good and bad, you know good and evil. What do you see, right? But things that are also portals, horoscope, dream catchers, crystals, lust, etc. And I'm gonna get into the lust part. Um, because that's something that the devil really does. But horoscope. Okay, so for example, horoscope, that's what you would call astrology. So right here, fallen angel number 5, Barkeo. The secrets of astrology, stargazing, horoscope, zodiac signs, all taught by this fallen angel. Later on, then transformed over to a demon spirit. So when you are doing your horoscope, you're claiming to be a zodiac sign. You got dream catchers everywhere. You're wearing crystals on your neck. All these things are portals for these demons to come back. And think of it like this too. Crystals, like I hear people like they'll put on crystals on their neck. And they'll be like, oh, it's healing. Like, oh, it's for soothing. What does this look like? Right here. Armors once again. White magic, healing, undoing of spells. Right? Like, no, it's deception. So you think you're healing, but you're not. You're actually opening a portal for more demons. And so all these things, like, once again, they're portals, and the enemy doesn't want you to know this, right? Like, so he makes it accepted by the world. It's cultural, right? That's why God says don't love the world. What the world knows is all wrong, right? The world's pushing the devil's agenda. And so, once again, Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I want to get into, and this is once again, I'm just going to touch on this before another video. But spirits transfer. It's like cheese touch, right? So if you don't have the Holy Spirit and you're not, walking in the Spirit and repenting and doing your best to live like Christ, no one's perfect, right? So like we all fall short of the glory. So it's not like, and that's the thing too. People look at following Christ like you're like this religious robot. Like no, it's not how that is. Now religion, if you're following religion, yes, you're a robot, and religion is also a demonic spirit. Once again, for another time. But something like fornication or lust, like just casual hookups without knowing the person, right? Like, because people now you know that people can be vessels of demons through these things. Like one way that spirits are transferred is through emotional soul ties. So if you're like best friends with someone who has these, it's transferred, but also the physical soul tie. So say like two people go, they're out and they hook up, they don't know each other, X, Y, and Z. Let's say the dude, let's say he's really big into astronomy, right? The sun, the earth, the clouds. Like he does stuff with, you know, okay, like I don't know what to call that, but he worships the earth. He watches the moon. Like he's like, oh, this is the moon phase. Um, this means that I'm going to be feeling this way. And then the girl is astrology, right? Horoscope, all that stuff. When those two come together and do you know what? Those spirits swap. So now he doesn't just have the demons that came from Tamiel, but he also has the ones that came from Barkeo, right? So, but once again, what does the devil do? Works through others, through other entities, right? So what you'll see is he'll be like, okay, this is casual. They push casual, they push sex symbols. Once again, Meg the Stallion. Why is she popping? She's a sex symbol. Do what you want with your body. Go do this. Hot girl summer. Like you go have a hot girl summer, you might have every demon on this list because you were idolizing Meg the Stallion, aka Ishtar. Right. So that's the agenda. So now you have all these demons on you and you have no idea how. You're just following this idol, aka Meg the Stallion. Right. So I know most of my videos, I'm just giving off, a word of encouragement in these things, but I think lately God's been showing me to just to share the knowledge and wisdom He's given me. And so once again, I can get into the history of all this, the Nephilim, the Book of Enoch, all these things, but I just wanted to hop on here, make a quick video, let you guys know this stuff is very real. The devil doesn't want you to know this. And so if you're idolizing anything in the world, anything that's not the Lord, right? And this is why he tells us this. I'm gonna end on this. I'm gonna end with a scripture. It's because the enemy then has a vice. This was the devil's plan, right? He wants to be like God. He didn't have an army. So when the fallen angels came down, he started to create one. And now he has these demons, these spirits that he can place and plant. And one thing too, last like I'm not saying last thing a lot, these demons like seeds grow. So if you leave these inside of you, they only grow. Like so it could start off with just checking your horoscope once a day. Then you're checking your horoscope and you're telling all your friends like your zodiac sign, and you only hang out with certain zodiac signs and you only date certain people with certain zodiac signs. Like that demon, it grows. So just remember that. But lastly, this is First John chapter 2 verses 15 through 17. I'll read them all actually. Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, it is not the Father, but is of the world. And the world is passing away, and the lust of it. But he who does the will of God abides forever. So once again, judgment day is coming. Those who are in love with the world, these spirits also in the world, like judgment day is coming, they will be thrown in the pits of fire. You walk with the Lord, eternal life. So just want to put this out there. I think if this really resonates with you, pray on it. Ask God to show you things that you're idolizing and whatnot. Because, and I mean, even for the men, right? I was thinking of someone like Future before I made this video. But I know dudes who idolize Future, and this thing too, like just like they're pushing wicked women as idol, they're pushing beta male men, right? Because they want men to be soft, they want men to be toxic, right? So someone like Future, uh, someone like Will Smith, whatever man they're pushing, like it's beta male energy. They're pushing Sam Smith, Lil Nas X. Like, why are they pushing this? This is beta males. They want you to be a Ahab, right? A soft male, like easy to step on, not how you're supposed to be. A man of God, the righteous are as bold as a lion. So just thinking on that, and remember, but pray on it because it's the one way the devil deceives. His biggest lie is making you think he's not there. And these things, really study yourself to see it proved, because it's one way that the enemy enters in and he wears you out and he wears you down and he spreads his lies, and it's all part of his agenda. But I love you guys and peace.